My name is Gus Olsen, and I dated more than 100 women in a single year right here in Europe without dating apps. And in this video, I'm going to show you the complete guide on how you can get dates anywhere you live and do it without apps. Now, who's this video actually for? This video is for a guy who on paper has his life together. You know, you've got your stuff handled, you're not living in your mom's basement, you got a job, you got friends, you're a decent human being, but you still feel like there's a hole, like something meaningful is missing. You see other people in relationships, or you just see other guys who just seem to meet women naturally, and you catch yourself thinking, why is it not me? Is there something wrong with me? And that question might mess up with your confidence. It might bring up different insecurities, and it probably makes you doubt yourself. Maybe you even had a relationship that just wasn't that exciting. You knew that the girl wasn't the best fit for you, but you stuck it out because you didn't feel like you had other options, or you had fear that you wouldn't find someone else. And the girls that you actually want to be dating, you're not able to get those girls right now. So if any of that hit close to home, you are in the right place, and this is the right video for you, because in this video I'm going to show you step by step the process of how you can start meeting and dating women like I did without apps in whatever city you live in. Now let's talk about the exact plan you need to implement, the one that will actually get you real opportunities. So step one is you actually need to set a schedule. Meeting women needs to become a scheduled activity, just like going to the gym. You don't see how you feel like it or see how the day goes. You schedule it no matter what. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna 3 times per week, minimum 1 hour each, in a busy area of your city. Now, you don't need to live in a massive city. If your city has 100,000 to 200,000 people, that's fine. But you need to choose a location where there are people. So train stations, busy street, shopping areas, malls, coffee shops. Pick the busiest area and just go there consistently. Personally, I prefer doing this during the day because I don't want to wait until 1 a.m. for a club to open. I just finish my work at 5 or 6 and I just go out to these locations. And once you're doing this, you'll go through multiple stages. So stage 1 is actually going to become overcoming inactivity and anxiety. So when you first go out, you're not going to be flirting yet. You're just going to approach 10 strangers and ask for directions. Now this will do 2 important things. Number 1, it will reduce your social anxiety, and number 2, it will break the massive inactivity that you've been having. Most likely you've been watching videos for months or years without actually doing anything. So we gotta start small. If you can't approach 10 strangers, approach 3. Next time 4, next time 5. But the ultimate goal is 10 strangers in an hour. Once you can comfortably do that, then we can move on to the next stage. Now stage 2 will be direct approaches to women. Now this is where things get interesting. You stop asking for directions and you go direct. So you walk up to someone and say something like, "Hey, I thought you looked nice. I just had to say hello." Now this stage in itself will have 4 mini stages. So mini stage 1 will be the 5-second stage. In this stage, you'll be so nervous you barely say hi. So you talk for 2 seconds and then you're just gonna leave. It'll just be too difficult for you to say anything else because of your anxiety. And that's normal. Everyone starts in this phase. Now, mini stage 2 will be the 10 to 20 second attempt. In this stage, you'll be able to stay in the conversation with the girl for about 10 to 20 seconds. Maybe ask a question, maybe exchange a bit of back and forth, and then you'll run out of things to say again. Anxiety will kick in, and then you'll probably eject from the conversation. And the mini stage 3 will be 1 to 3 minute conversations. So here in this stage, you're actually going to be able to talk to a woman for a little bit of time, 1 to 3 minutes, but the conversations will be logical and boring conversations. So basically nothing will really happen, and this is where most guys actually plateau. And then mini stage 4 is the flirting stage, and this is where things really start happening. Now you have no major social anxiety, you can stay in the conversation, you can maintain a back and forth conversation comfortably, but more importantly, you're becoming playful and the conversation is illogical, fun, and flirting. And this is where attraction starts to really build. And if you're actually wondering how to do this, I made a full flirting guide that you can download below from the description after watching this video. Now let's talk about what actually needs to happen for real dates, because you don't want to just get numbers that never respond. So these conditions must be met. Number 1 is the conversation length. So your conversations with women need to be 7 to 8 minutes minimum. If you talk to a girl for 30 seconds or 1 minute, that is not enough. You cannot build emotional connection, attraction, comfort, all of these things in 1 minute. She'll simply not respond. So 7 to 8 minutes minimum, ideally 10 plus. Number 2 is she asks questions about you during the conversation. If you're the only one asking questions during the conversation, she's really not that invested. If she shows no curiosity about you, even if she gives you the number, she just won't respond later. Investment must go both ways. Requirement number 3 is she laughs and has a good time. So if she's not visibly enjoying the interaction, why would she go on a date with you? So if you don't see any laughing, no positive emotions, it won't convert to a date. And number 4 is you agree on a date before taking the number. This is critical. You don't just say, hey, let me get your Instagram. Instead, you say, we should grab a drink sometime. And once she agrees to the idea of a date, then you take her number, not the other way around. And this is exactly the process that I used to get my first 100 dates in 1 year with no apps and no prior connection to the girl. Just going out there in my city and approaching women directly. Now let's go through the most common questions guys have about this process. Number 1 is, if it's so powerful, why isn't every guy doing it? And the reason is you need to develop multiple skills: getting over approach anxiety, handling rejection, putting yourself out there, carrying a conversation, flirting, displaying confidence and charisma. The skill development required is quite hard, but the good thing about this method is that everything is in your control. You're not relying on some random algorithms to get you dates, and you can actually develop these skills. Question number 2 is, can I do this if I'm introverted and anxious? Yes, you can totally do this. Everyone is anxious in the beginning. All my past students were introverted and anxious when they started. This is not a bug, that's a feature of this process. Anxiety at the beginning is normal. It's part of the journey. Question number 3 is, what are the requirements for me to be able to be successful at this? The only real requirement is that you're not living in a war zone, because you don't need to be super attractive, to be extremely rich, to have experience with women. Do those things help a little bit? Sure, but they're not the main variable that will control success. The main variables are basically 2 things: social skills and confidence, and both of these things you're going to be improving as you're iterating and going on this journey. Thing number 4 that men say is that women in my country hate being approached. Now, this is one of the most common limiting beliefs. Guys read things online, they see posts on Reddit, they see women complaining on social media. Now, look, I've done this for years. Nothing bad has ever happened to me. The worst thing that happened is a rejection. Women don't hate being approached. They don't like awkward and poorly calibrated approaches, but there's a big difference. And that's why we're learning to do this properly. Thing number 5 that people say is that my city is too small. Now, this comes up a lot. And if you live in a city with at least 100,000 people, you're fine. I've had students in cities under 250,000 who got results. Now, if you live in a town of 20,000 people, well, maybe that's genuinely a bit too small. But a medium-sized cities are completely workable. There's always a trade-off, right? For example, if you live in a New York City, which is a massive city, there are more people, but people are more rushed, so it's a bit harder to stop them. In smaller cities, you have fewer people, but those people are more relaxed, so it's easier to talk to them. So both can work. And final thing that guys say is, well, I talked to 100 women and I didn't get any results. Now, this is where most guys completely misunderstand this method. Results do not just come from doing volume. If your conversations are not going past 1 to 2 minutes, you can talk to 300 women and still not get any results. You only start getting consistent dates once you cross a threshold of confidence and a threshold of social and flirting skills. If you haven't reached that threshold and you're still below this threshold, then numbers alone won't save you. You'll be running around the city asking random women for dates and nothing will happen, because that's not a strategy. That's just a numbers game without skill. This method requires skill development. The higher your skill, the fewer numbers you're going to need to get a date. The lower your skill, the more numbers you'll burn through without results. And that's the reality of it. Because this method is not some magic or tricks, but it's a learnable skill combined with consistent action. Now, you can try to execute on all of this on your own. However, if you'd like to get help with this so that the fear doesn't stop you and you quit, or you keep making the same mistakes without making progress for months or years like a lot of men, my one-on-one mentorship might be interesting for you. So this is how my mentorship works. So number 1 is we have weekly live field coaching with me on the phone. So once a week, you'll go out there in your city while I'm gonna be on the phone with you. So you'll wear headphones like AirPods, and I'll be speaking directly to you while you're approaching. Now, this helps you in 3 major ways. So number 1, it will help you deal with the anxiety in real time, because I know exactly what kind of thoughts you're having as you're approaching. I've had them myself. I've seen them in countless of my students. And as we're going to be talking, I'll help you reframe the negative thoughts, handle social anxiety, and move step by step through fear. Number 2 is I'll teach you my flirting framework step by step from ground up. As I've explained earlier, normal conversations are not enough. you actually need to flirt with a girl. So I'll teach you my flirting framework live inside real interactions. Number 3 is you're gonna get direct, immediate feedback. And this is probably the most valuable part of the mentorship because I hear every conversation you're gonna have. I can tell you what worked, what didn't work, and what you need to improve. So you don't have to guess. You get immediate live feedback and correction, and that accelerates your progress massively. You might be making the same mistake for months until you realize, oh, I've actually been doing that thing. So feedback is invaluable. Number 2 is you're gonna do 2 additional solo practice sessions per week on your own. Besides the live session, that's gonna be your homework. Every week will push you further through the stages from anxiety to basic conversations to flirting to closing to getting dates. And this is gonna be a gradual progression. Number 3 is gonna have unlimited access to me. So you'll have my direct WhatsApp and phone number, and you can message me daily what's not working, what went well, what you're struggling with, what you're afraid of. So I'll be in your pocket constantly every day whenever you have a question or doubt that needs to be resolved. Number 4, you'll be part of a community of other men doing the same thing. We share the same thoughts, we share wins, we share breakthroughs, and it's much easier to do this when you're not alone. And if you're wondering whether this works, here are some real examples. So you had Alex, a PhD pharmaceutical scientist from Switzerland, 26 years old. He was a total beginner and he learned to approach, overcame social anxiety, and landed first dates ever in his life with beautiful women. We had Yvonne, cybersecurity specialist from Eastern Europe, who started off with heavy social anxiety, and then during the mentorship, he started dating numerous women and genuinely felt excited about them. We had Raj, an Indian engineer living in New York. So he learned to approach in New York City, which is not an easy city to do it, and eventually get a girlfriend from these skills. We had John, a tech entrepreneur from USA. He was burned out from dating apps, so he learned to meet women in real life and met super high quality women. We had Gia, who's a personal trainer. He got 4 dates in 1 week from real life approaches. Artem, a cybersecurity specialist from Ukraine, massive social anxiety until he overcame that and approached a group of 6 women and went on multiple dates and completely changed his dating life. We had Kieran, software engineer from USA, who had severe social anxiety. He even had suicidal thoughts, and even Kieran learned to approach women and landed his first dates with very attractive women. We had Oscar, who was the youngest student that I've had, 20 years old. He started literally from ground zero because he'd never had a date, and he landed his first dates ever without using any apps. Adrian, data engineer, learned to meet women proactively. Juan, data scientist from USA, super heavy social anxiety, and he broke through this and started dating proactively. Eric, project manager from Denmark, same transformation. Jacob, college student from the USA, same transformation. Diego from Argentina went on 15 dates and found an amazing girlfriend. As you can see, the pattern is the same. You have guys who are analytical, introverted, intelligent, and fearful of rejection, unsatisfied with their dating life. Some had experience, some had none, but the common thread is that all of them had social anxiety and lack of confidence. And when you learn this skill, you don't just get more dates. You become more confident, charismatic, and socially skilled, and you'll no longer choose women out of scarcity. You learn to step outside your comfort zone and actually stop having regrets for not doing anything in this area. So if this resonates with you and you want to do this properly, click the link below, which will lead to my mentorship page. You can check out all these student stories, book a call with me, and let's see if this could be a good fit. See you there.